All right, Grant, pre-show shenanigans on this beautiful Monday late afternoon, early evening when we're recording this. Grant, we're going to embrace debate, I think, to an extent here. It's not necessarily like negative discourse, but I think it's just more so like thinking of stuff, and what the best possibilities would be.
Okay.
Um, Grant, what is a bowl game that does not exist but should exist?
I feel like
Meaning
we've done this before.
the potential
And the
host, the
immediate
location.
immediate answer, the Chipotle Bowl, how it doesn't exist yet, I still don't know. It's right there. It is right in front of you. How the Chipotle Bowl doesn't exist, I don't
No
know.
idea.
It
Chipotle,
seems the most straightforward,
straightforward.
simple. Oh, that's literally an item that you sell. Like, so
No, literally.
The Chipotle Bowl, I still don't know why they haven't made that. That's just it's so
Somebody's
easy.
if they lose out to like the Kava Bowl or something like that, it's all time bad beat.
Now,
That's an all
I
time
would
bad beat.
be extremely down for just a combo, the slot bowl, brought to you by Chipotle, Kava, and what's the last slot bowl place? Shit. Sweet Green?
Oh,
Do they count as
Sweet Green. That's
is
close enough.
what's the last slot bowl place? There's
Sweet
another
Green's
one.
there. It's there. It's close
But
enough.
the slot bowl. So brought to you by Chipotle, Kava, and Sweet Green all together, the slot bowl. Those are the two easy ones.
See, I have one right here that, in theory, from a TV
Bowl, okay.
bowl broadcast perspective.
The name of the thing ends in bowl.
Well,
So
I'm not thinking like that. This is the tweet that this came from that made me think of this, Grant. We have the Wada Bowl hosted by Whataburger, and the bowl location is on an aircraft carrier.
like
Now,
that one college basketball game they do every
exactly.
year on the
Like,
aircraft
you would
carrier.
not be able to have any
Can
fans
they
watching.
fit a now? Correct me. The width dimensions of obviously 120 yards. It kind of
Yeah.
ends up, but is it 40?
I think it's
What is
far enough.
does an aircraft? Well, screw it. We'll build an aircraft carrier that fits a football field. If we don't have one, we'll make one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the
I mean, that would have to be the greatest stealth bomber flyover of
this
all
is the
time,
picture we've
correct?
got here. So, I mean, it could fit. You're not fitting fans on there, but like that would be sick. That would be sick.
We have boats along it
On the
that seat
sides.
the fans.
Yeah, that could play. That's it. Kind of would have. We'd have to replace the Navy Army Bowl. Like that seems like a military bowl vibe. Like
Oh yeah,
maybe we switch the military bowl from being at Navy's stadium in Annapolis, and we make it to be on the aircraft carrier.
all right. I'm taking a okay. When you look up, sorry, you gotta go a little bit longer.
Yeah,
You have to look
great,
up
great.
Army versus Navy football. If you look up military bowl, there is a military bowl game that was played between the ECU Pirates and another school. So that does not
Well, the
pop it.
military bowl, Tulane was in the military bowl like a
Okay,
couple years ago.
so
Like it's an actual bowl.
what I'm reading, I believe they switch off who hosts every year.
Oh,
Wait, no, they
between
don't.
Army and Navy?
No, they're
No, I
neutral
think the bowl,
sites.
the military bowl is always at Navy. The
Army Navy.
military bowl
Oh no,
itself
I
is the
thought you
bowl
meant
game,
Army
not the
versus
Army Navy
Navy.
game. The Army Navy game,
Oh, I thought you were
but like
saying
that
that should be on an aircraft
that should
carrier, which
also be on
yes.
the aircraft. That should be on the aircraft carrier.
Yes.
100%. 100% should be on the aircraft carrier.
Yeah, I'm seeing for that specific game, those are neutral sites. MetLife is next year, so we have our troops losing ACLs in next year's Army Navy game, and then it's at the link in 2027.
Yeah, I mean, Link would be sick, but
Link is
still
great.
aircraft carrier 100%. 100%
The easy answer is the
better.
Chipotle slot bowl, though. Let's get you know what? Yeah, let's get one more in there. It doesn't even need to be a sponsor. We could maybe it could be a neutral name like the Rose Bowl or Sugar Bowl. Just come up with a New Year's Six bowl.
I feel like we should have a cookie bowl, and the sponsor, you could have like Crumble Bowl or something, and then Cookie Monster is the mascot on the sideline.
If
Like Pop-Tart
Crumble
Bowl.
was the sponsor, then Penn State needs to be playing in this game every year for the remainder of time.
but Cookie Monster should be like have Sesame Street as like an additional sponsor, and Cookie Monster should be like the mascot, like they have the Pop Tart Bowl.
Let's just say this: we are blessed and very fortunate to have the Pop Tart Bowl. We should be beyond thankful that we have that and we can ever get rid of it. Uh, what is the next life size food item that would be hilarious to mass execute on live television at the end of the bowl game?
Um, I'm trying to think of a
Now, the
massive.
life size Chipotle bowl, I feel like that might be a bit of a heavy
The slop
costume.
bowl. It'd have to be a burrito, so it doesn't really
It'd
work
be
as
like a
well.
3-person costume.
Yeah, that wouldn't be great. Um, and I feel like it would have to be an open bowl too, which
That's what
could
I'm
have
saying.
it'd be questions. A burger would be possible, or some fries, like a McDonald's bowl. You could have the McDonald's fries.
But they already have that McDonald's All American game. So
Yeah,
would that devalue that if they
maybe a little bit. I mean, I'm trying to think like Pop Tart. I'm not trying to go too Pop Tart, right? Like, so I don't want it to be like a brownie or an Eggo waffle, but an Eggo waffle would work really well. If we had an Eggo bowl, that could work pretty well.
I would be down
French
for a
toast.
Kraft mac and cheese bowl brought to you by the one and only Robert Kraft. I don't know if he does Kraft Company.
I
I have no
I have no. I
idea.
don't know.
Uh,
I'm not exactly too sure. Um, Kraft mac and cheese. That would work. That could play.
I'm just thinking
Um,
of like
Campbell's
the
soup.
logo for a bowl. I mean, just a little bowl. It's
Land
not even that hard to
O'Lakes.
make. Little Land O'Lakes bowl. All
Land
right.
O'Lakes Butter Bowl.
Now
It's
with
the
that,
Butter Bowl.
uh, what's another word we could use for bowl that could describe something that holds water to fit with Land O'Lakes? Do you get what I'm saying?
A bucket.
There's somewhere we could workshop Land O'Lakes in there, but it wouldn't be referred to as the Land O'Lakes Bowl. Something else would have to
Yeah.
be that last word. But that was, yeah, no, there's nothing better than the Chipotle Bowl. It's
It's
really
right there,
tough
guys.
to
It's
top
right
that.
there. It's right there.
I guess maybe like an ice cream bowl, like a Ben and Jerry's bowl or something.
Sunday. Just call
Sunday
it the
bowl,
Sunday.
the Sunday, the
The
Sunday,
Sunday.
and it's
The
played
Sunday. It's
on a
played on.
Tuesday every year.
It's just the most innocuous random day of the week for a Sunday bowl.
Yeah,
It's
but
like a Tuesday, not at like 7 o'clock, not at like 11 o'clock. No, we're talking like
a 10:45 a.m. start.
well that or like a 2:15, like right in
Yeah,
the middle
not on a
between two
30,
slots.
not on the start of a fresh hour at a 15
2:15.
or 15's
2:15.
NFL. So 45. I think 45 is it.
You could do like a Baskin Robbins, like have Dunkin's be in there with the sponsor. You could have ice cream
Oh,
and a
Dunkin's a little
donut,
too
the
easy.
donut bowl.
Dunkin's a little
Like
too easy. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, like
Dunkin'
it could
Bowl
be in
kind
there.
of makes sense too.
Yeah, right.
Sort of.
Sort of. You just have donut holes instead of it's possible. The whole trophy's got donut holes in it.
Yeah,
That's you
I'm
dump it.
realizing right now it's in the name Dunkin' Donuts, but they are encouraging you to dunk your donut in your coffee. That's in the name. I've personally
You
never
just
done
put that
that.
together.
I've personally never explored that one. We may have to workshop that. That might be my New Year's resolution for 2026. Have one donut dipped in coffee.
Coffee. What kind of coffee though? That could make or break this.
We'll have to research. I feel like you actually want a bitter, plain black coffee. You don't want that to
Probably
be
it
too
probably
sugary.
complements it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to look into this though.
We'll
Can't
workshop
say I've
that.
done any research
That's
on it.
that's gonna be Grant's
That's my New Year's
Explorer
resolution.
report back. He's gonna have to report back for a pre-show.
That may be the not pre-show shenanigans. That is the pre-show to the space episode is my review of Donut plus coffee.
Of the donut and coffee.
Whenever
That's
that'll
possible.
probably be coming to you. Well, it will come to you like June 3rd or 4th because that's like right when the NBA finals start. So that's right when we'll be getting
Usually
into
we
it.
have a space episode and the NBA finals pre-show episode in the same.
Yeah, no, NBA Finals preview the day after the last game of the NBA Finals. Then we'll preview
Exactly.
the whole NBA season.
Exactly.
Exactly. But that's
Exactly.
going to do the pre-show, folks. Massive, massive big time episode. Let's get right into it. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Waterboy Podcast. It is episode 358. And screw it, it's a college football quarterfinal preview episode. You know what? There's also a new Michigan man in town. Well, really not a Michigan man at all. If you heard his intro press conference, Kyle Whittingham, when asked about Ohio State,
Yep.
he was like, well,
Yes.
I guess I do hate them now, but I used to be Urban's DC at Utah, so have a relationship with Coach Meyer and respect everything he's done. So not the Michigan man answer. The Michigan man answer would have said, I've literally never even looked an Ohio State man in the eyes. I've literally never even acknowledged anyone that could have been affiliated with Ohio State
Well,
ever.
they would have taken an Ohio State, rag or something, just burned it live on the press conference.
Yeah, and you know
Just
what? I wouldn't have blamed them at all if they did that because I would do the same thing when it comes to Michigan men. But Kyle Whittingham, now Michigan head coach. Real quick, actually, while we're on this, quick little head coach coaching carousel recap because a
mhm.
lot of it's pretty done. And Marcus Freeman just announced he's coming back next year, not going to the
Yeah.
Giants or any other NFL opportunities. So a lot of these things pretty set in stone. I'm just going to do some quick winners and losers. We're going to start off with the very first team that hit the market, this whole thing, Penn State. They somehow fell ass backwards into the biggest dub they possibly could have gotten in the coach search.
Yeah.
Somehow, now they went
After
for
quite literally
Sig,
missing on every
everyone.
possible person.
Missed on Sig, missed on DeBoer. I guess we can throw
Matt Rule.
Oh, they may have passed on Rule, to be honest. They may have
Possible.
just passed.
Possible.
But all the guys that we heard at first, they just passed. No, thank you. And also, Matt Campbell famously, he does not interview midseason. Matt Campbell's agent is like, Matt will not interview with your team until Iowa State has played their 12th regular season game. Then he will interview with you. So, kind of helping out Penn State, assuming Matt Campbell was their number one choice, they literally couldn't have started searching for him when they fired James Franklin anyway. But then again, it's like, so why did you fire James Franklin in
Yeah.
October? Tank your recruiting class.
Worked out great for Virginia Tech.
Now, second winner, Virginia Tech. Holy shit. That's the biggest upgrade in this whole thing. Going from, I'm blanking on their last coach's name.
Oh, that's their new DC.
Yeah.
Pry.
Yeah. Brent Pry. Brent Pry.
Pry, yeah. Pry.
So Pry, long time Virginia Tech guy. He's been there for a very long time. Obviously, not the head coach in place, but they casually upgrade to James Franklin. And yeah, we all have our thoughts on James Franklin at Penn State. I know he doesn't beat the number 2 ranked Ohio State team every year. I know. For Virginia Tech, though, other than Beamer, greatest coach in school history? Yeah, easy, other than Big Beam. So massive, massive upgrade for Virginia Tech. Huge winner, easily. Next team on this list, well, LSU, obviously the big, another massive win, going from BK, who openly just literally was just on a paycheck his last year and a half at LSU. Yep. He just did not care at all. Massive upgrade for them. Duh. I would say Ole Miss, it's not an upgrade. Actually,
they could have.
I can't even grade it because it's an internal. Can't even grade it. TBD. We'll see. Can't even grade it really. Any new head coaches you can't really grade. I will say though, USF. Yeah, I mean home run. Taking heart. Yeah, absolutely smashed it. You're now gonna get 4-star South Florida guys to come to USF at least for a year.
Big. That's big for them.
Yeah, they Miami, Ohio State, we're big in that area. Heartline, our main recruiter in that region, he did the whole South regardless of position. Mm-hmm. So he's recruiting DNs from Florida. That's Heartline's job. He's now gone. So I guess Tim Walton's going to be addressed to that now. We need a new guy needs to go take over Southeast. Yeah. That's its own beast. Florida's its own country. So we literally need to get a passport now to go recruit Florida. But yeah, it is. To be determined there. But give me another coach. I'm forgetting new. Oh, Michigan State, grand slam out of the park, getting Pat Fitzgerald. Holy shit! Now Sparty, I have a lot of respect for. I love anyone I know that's affiliated with Michigan State because they're the only people I know that understand what I mean when I talk about Michigan. They're the only people and they understand it better because they're from it. They literally dude. I have to deal with family members at Thanksgiving telling me this go blue bullshit. And I'm just saying, I'm like, oh my, you guys are literally the biggest hypocrites. Anyway, though, massive hire for the Spartans. Getting Pat Fitzgerald. maybe not year one, but Mel Tucker made that team 11-1, 10-2 overnight in two
I mean,
seasons.
he's done a good job.
Pat Fitzgerald, what he did at Northwestern,
Yeah,
he would be a game against Ohio State. Like Northwestern was never a gimme.
They might have lost games, but they would always make it.
It's overperforming for what he has every time.
It is always making a game, even if the record, doesn't necessarily say it.
Yeah, no, but he's an excellent coach, Pat Fitzgerald. I mean, his whole situation, how he got fired, people are saying, hey, some of those stories may have been a little fabricated. Northwestern wanted Pat Fitzgerald out for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, Michigan State clearly does not. It's a low bar over there.
Yeah, they do not care over there.
It's a low bar.
But an absolute home run smash hire for Michigan State.
Florida, Auburn.
Florida, absolute home run smash, of course. Almost, anything is an upgrade over Billy Napier. But still, I think John Summerall was obviously right there, like in that next crop, give him a chance.
We knew he was going to be. He was an SEC. Getting hired at Tulane, we all collectively understood he is an SEC guy. He's going to coach in the SEC, and where we have him is alone, essentially, until that happens. And it's a home run hit. Like, he recruits well, coaches well. He's been a winner. He's a proven winner. And he's done really well with the assets he's had at G5 schools in Troy and Tulane. Like, he's going to do really well.
Yeah, is there another one that we're missing?
Golesh at Auburn.
Okay, now we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. Golesh, I just read up a lot about him. I didn't know too much about his back. I had heard the name Alex Golesh. I think he was at Ohio State at one point. But
maybe
I looked up. He is born in Soviet.
Tennessee, right?
He was born in the Soviet Union as Alexei Goleshevsky. His family immigrated to Ohio when he was 8 years old, and that's how he learned about football. They moved from not Russia, the Soviet Union to the United States, okay? That's how he learned football, grew up in Ohio, like was an Ohio State fan. Naturally, what else are you going to do in Ohio? He was like, dude, Russia's probably might be better than this. That he's sitting there just like, oh, I'm just going to do this whole football thing. I forget where he started out, but he has one of the craziest life stories growing up in the USSR. So, once again, though, I was a big fan of his offense at Tennessee. You guys know, look up any of those Hendon Hooker episodes. I'm the biggest Hendon Hooker stan potentially on earth. I loved Golesh and what he did there.
Recruiting out of USF too.
Yeah. He did a good job coaching their recruiting, and it's a TBD, but I like the hire.
I do
Auburn
too. And
could have gone worse.
They're going to get some guys at positions of need because Golesh is there. Like Byron Brown, who's the quarterback at USF, is in the portal now, is probably going to Auburn. He was pretty good at USF. And they'll get a couple other guys probably from USF too who are like explosive athletes. So I'd expect Auburn at bare minimum to be better next year than they were this year, regardless.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and also Auburn's another place where this year, if they had a quarterback ever, they may have been 10-2. Like, that team is good. 100%. The team's damn good.
Very good. Jackson Arnold, just not great.
Jackson Arnold, that's a UTEP quarterback. We don't like to put guys down on this podcast, but that is a UTEP.
And you also have, is it Silverfield? I think Memphis' head coach went to Arkansas. That was a hire. And we had UNT's head coach going to Oregon State, I think, replacing Mike Gundy.
Oh, no, that's OK State.
Is it
OK? I think Oregon State also just changed, though. OK and State. Oregon. I know
one of the two. One of the two OSUs. One of the three OSUs, I guess.
But I'm not sure if the second team in the Pac-2 also changed coaches this year.
I think he replaced Mike Gundy. I'm pretty sure he replaced Mike.
That sounds about correct.
But either way, that was a good hire.
I would say another underrated happened today. Oh, shit. Did not like reading this as a USC fan. D'Anton Lenton has been hired as the next Penn State defensive coordinator. That is one of the best hires.
Yeah,
Matt Campbell just hit. That
Tough
sucks for
loss
Lincoln Riley.
for
That
Lincoln
is
Riley's staff.
D'Anton Lynn is literally the only time in Lincoln Riley's life he has hired a competent DC. So he's like 1 for 7
Well,
lifetime
didn't he have
hiring DCs.
he had Venables before too though.
Clemson.
Oh, is that at Clemson? Fuck, I don't know why I thought I
Venables was,
guess
I know
he's coaching
Venables
Oklahoma now.
Clemson
I guess
too
that's why I had
well,
the association.
unfortunately. Brent Venables is
Um
a boogeyman.
yeah, but um yeah, I mean hard for Lincoln Riley to place it. Also, I mean hard to retain if he's getting that offer because Danton Lynn is a former Penn State Cougar. So
Mm-hmm. Nittany Lion.
Nittany Lion.
Nittany
Sorry, I
Lion.
don't know
Nittany
why I'm
Lion.
all the same thing. I'm thinking the blue logo stuff, the Nittany Lion.
I mean,
Um,
to be honest,
close enough.
their mascot does resemble a cougar
Yeah,
or a
close enough.
puma.
Just other hires though. You have Charles Huff from Southern Miss getting hired by
Oh,
Memphis. Great hire.
love him.
Great
That's the guy who
hire.
said we got all you can eat biscuits if any of
Hmm.
those Ohio State
That
players
was
want
a
to come
great
down here.
hire. And then you have Tulane hiring Will Hall, who was fired from Southern Miss and replaced by Charles Huff. Don't love the hire. It's an internal hire. Last head coaching job didn't do well at. It hasn't. He was hired for maintaining like stability and like continuity
Continuity.
essentially. And then half the team just hit the portal and half the coaches just left. So not really any continuity. And
Okay.
all those players were like, "We love the hire," and I think half of them hit the portal after saying that. So that's how the cookie
Interesting.
crumbles. But hopefully Tulane will be good next year. I don't know. I mean, we just got a lot of money in the playoffs, so hopefully that goes somewhere. But we'll see. Um, but Grant, while we're just kind of on the carousel conversation, I have a segue conversation into transfer portal and then we can do a little
Okay.
playoff
The
preview
portal.
here. Um, just something that I realized, and I think a lot of people have realized this year, and it started a lot last year, was there's so many players who end up hitting the portal right now. Where it used to be, if you went in the portal, you specifically were going to the portal because you knew you were going to one team or another team. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm going to go in the portal and then I'm going to just hear all these offers. Unless you, obviously, if you were a really, really good player, maybe that would happen. But still, you'd probably be like, I'm going because I'm going to this school instead. You would already kind of know where you're going.
Yeah, usually when a really high profile guy hits the portal, they have been tampered with.
Yeah. Nowadays, though, that still happens, but it feels like for that next tier of players that are in the portal, there are a lot of players in the portal this year. It really seems like they're just like, oh, I'm going to see what comes about. Like
Negotiation tactic.
you might not get an offer to play anywhere if you go in the portal. Like so a lot of
Oh,
players right now seem like they're going in the portal with no destination in mind. They're just like, oh, I think I could do better, but they haven't been contacted by anybody. Maybe they don't, maybe not have a better
what I
offer, but they
think
want to see
part
their
of this
options.
could be involved here is that, like, entering the portal doesn't necessarily mean you're gone. And I think
No,
right now, some guys, like, their agents are telling them, enter the portal. We can get you, like, maybe an extra 5, 10, 15K NIL at your school by entering the portal. And, like, it's just exploring additional opportunities. But that's one thing where we should probably be publicizing and looking into who these agents are a little bit more
mm-hmm.
frequently, kind of just have an idea of what's going on. But the Nico Imaliava situation, that was
Right.
bad advice from an agent, maybe his dad involved too. That's an example of bad advice and how entering the portal is not always the answer. Uh, there have also, though, been countless examples of how entering the portal was the greatest thing for that kid's life, and it should be so thankful that he entered the portal and things change and how much better it is now. So it kind of goes both ways, but it's just right now I think it's like a bit too easy to be an agent for these college kids, and you don't
Oh yeah, no,
necessarily
I mean
need
like
the credentials.
in actual professional sports, you have to be credentialed by like the PA, usually the Players
Yeah,
Association. And in college, I don't think the NCAA requires you to be credentialed to do it.
there's too many players to have all these agents like in a day.
Yeah.
Like, there's just too many
So
guys. Like if there's
I
85 Scully on a
yeah,
85 times one
I
four, like that's too
I
many
mean
people. Like
it's hard to do that, but it's also just like it's the Wild West right now in college football. It's unregulated. There is no, I don't think there's a limitation anymore on how many times you can portal. And a lot of time there's so much money going around, the players are just like, well, I want to make money, I'm going to go in the portal because somebody has to pay me, somebody will pay me. And that's not always the case, because teams will end up fighting over the same 5, 6 players, and then after that they might just be like, well, we're going to stick with who we have, who we just recruited, and then your spot on your old team might have been filled by that point. So just
Yeah, I
that's
mean, this is
that's kind of the
something
situation with the portal
I'm just
that's
thinking out
problematic.
loud here as you just said that, just put something on my mind. But like, let's say you have a guy, like, let's say you're Georgia, you got a ton of
Right.
top recruits every year. When that 5-star, 4-star, third string DN never even hints at hitting the portal, he is always locked into Georgia. Like, I have never even considered the portal. Now that dude, you feel pretty damn comfortable playing him when he's ready eventually, like the guys
Mm-hmm.
that do stick it out, I don't care if I'm on the bench. I picked this school, I made a commitment to you, and I'm honoring that shit.
Well,
Those are the guys that just skyrocket.
100%. And also, like, we've said this several times too. Like, and unfortunately, like, one of the key examples is Makai Hughes, like from Tulane. The grass isn't always greener. You might go in the portal expecting to make more money or to play at a better school, but you might go there, you might make more money, but you might lose playing time because now you're in a competition wherever you go, right? If you're any player, unless, like, I guess in this situation, like Sam Levitt, he's not going to need to compete with the quarterback against whatever school he ends up going to, right? It's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
But no matter what happens, like another example, Julian Sand had to go in, he had to compete to win the spot at Ohio State. And obviously he did end up winning it, and it's turned out really well for him.
I will
But
say
like,
though, he was a little bit different. Like the second he hit the portal, like Bill O'Brien,
I
Bob the
know,
Builder was there for a week and a
I,
half.
yeah,
That's the reason he went to Ohio State. Then Bill
yeah.
O'Brien takes the head coach job.
But,
But
but still had to compete for the position. And
yes,
like,
yeah.
so no, it doesn't mean that just because you transfer somewhere you're going to
Oh,
automatically start. And
100%.
that could be even more of a deterrent. Like last year, Darian Mensa going to Duke, right? It was very clear that he was going to start, and then they had their quarterback, he ended up hitting the portal too. Malik Murphy hit the portal right afterwards. So like, that can happen, but for the
Help me
most
out
part that's
here.
not really the trend of how
Yeah.
things work. You have to win, and that's
Can
not
you
always
think of an
guaranteed.
example of a guy who was starting? Caleb Downs might be the only one. A guy who was starting A1 caliber, entered the portal, and was going to just start no matter what. Is it just Caleb?
Who was starting caliber hit the portal and then
He
started.
started at his last school. He
Mm-hmm.
would continue starting if he stayed there and just still entered the portal anyway. Like,
Who?
the
Because I was going
playing
to say, like,
time is
Retzlaff is
not
technically an example of that, but he wasn't going to start at
okay. That's
BYU.
that, but that's what I'm saying.
So
Like, they don't leave the school for like play time. They
Sam
literally
Levitt, Sam Levitt will be an
okay,
example.
okay,
Nestamaker will be an example
okay.
from UNT. Um.
I just feel like that you
Who's
don't
the
really
Georgia
see.
Tech wide receiver that just
Singleton.
Singleton? He's an example.
Okay, I guess Gibbs did that shit when he
Chris
went G Tech to
Brazel is
Bama.
an example. I think you
Okay,
could
all
count
right,
Chris
we're getting it.
Brazel as an
All right, we're
example.
hitting it now. We're hitting it now.
Um, Trying to think of other guys though. The
I think
defensive
though,
names aren't.
in a lot of
Shadre
those
Hurst will. He will
in a
portal. He will
lot of
start
those
where he goes. But
situations, big NIL bump. I'm just
yes,
thinking of a
100%. Darian
scenario.
Mensa is an still
I'm
example.
thinking of a scenario where a guy leaves not for playing time and not for NIL. Can we think of one? I literally think
Well, like,
Caleb Downs might be it.
just for
Situation like coach like shit. Like every reason is essentially NIL playing time, right?
Quinshawn.
Yeah, he did get a lot more NIL.
Yeah, but
He
he
did
probably would have
admit.
made that money at Ole Miss.
You'd think,
I
but like I don't
I
know.
do I do. That is a fair point. Um, Jaden Daniels was NIL, and
Yeah, all these guys are getting fat bumps.
yeah. Um, Caleb.
No, yeah, that's what I think it might just be Caleb Downs, but
Well,
also
Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams.
oh, that literally might be it. But also
But
his
that was
coach is going
following
to.
coach.
So really, yeah, no, we like you can't. You can never really see a kid entering the portal for good intentions. Pretty much,
Mateer, maybe
he
he's
get
getting
fat NIL
NIL.
upgrade.
Same with Cam Ward, massive NIL upgrade.
Massive. He got he
Carson.
They never
Carson,
disclosed that one, but I
Carson
bet
Beck.
Cam Ward. I
Well,
bet he
actually,
made
Carson
four or
Beck might not have
five.
still. He was not going to start at Georgia, but
Well, that
Carson
he
Beck,
was getting
yeah,
benched at Georgia.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but
Uh,
that was a fun. That was good. That was a
Good
good workshop.
exercise.
All
Little
right, that was good.
mental, mental gymnastics there and mental exercise. Always good. Okay, Grant, let's get into the playoff games here. We have a whopping 4 playoff games for your guys' New Year's enjoyment. Starting with the first one, Grant, your game on New Year's Eve, 6:30 p.m. In Dallas
Mhm.
at the Cotton Bowl, my favorite. Um, Comments? I mean, this I'm going to defer to you on this one. You have the most
Yeah,
invested
I'll
here.
say this. It is pretty shocking to me. It's the largest spread of all the games. I like 9.5 is just a lot of points.
Yeah,
That's just a lot. Uh, and
and I mean, especially considering what we just the last game we saw Ohio State play too.
oh yeah,
Like that's a big continuity point, I think, for this.
yeah, I think that helps. Like there's of course recency bias. We just saw Miami win. We just saw Ohio
Right.
State loss.
Not a
That
good
helps.
game though, but yes.
Uh, yeah, but still, like that's just in your mind. I think the key to this game is going to be both sides of the line. I know I say this a lot, but the only time I've seen Julian Sand not look comfortable. Okay, real quick. There are certain players, NFL and college, that when they throw the ball, you just assume it's a completion. I can't
Yes.
say it for every quarterback of Ohio State quarterbacks. CJ Stroud, when he dropped back to pass, you assumed it was a completion. Justin Fields wasn't like that. Honda
Yeah.
McCord, hell no. Will Howard was not like that, but Julian Sand is like that. When he throws the ball and the camera quick pans down the field, I
You
assume
just
there's a guy
assume it's
wide
completed.
open.
Yeah.
Wide ass open. But the only time this year where Julian would throw the ball and I did not feel that way was against Indiana, specifically second half Indiana when Julian Sand looked like a young quarterback. Now all year was the protection up until that Indiana game was elite up front. The run blocking, a lot to be desired. Pass blocking, they've been pretty lights out. Like up until that Indiana game, the pass blocking was elite. Julian Sand had a fucking year to throw back there. Jeremiah could run a triple move because there's time to run it. It was just easy. It was like greatest show on turf shit. There's no pressure. You're thrown against air, so it's not really impressive. Now we're going up against arguably one of the most real D lines in the playoff field remaining. You know, at minimum, number one edge rusher in the playoffs right now, Ruben Bain, that we have to go up against.
Yep.
He plays that strong side end coming off against right tackle Philip Daniels. That's my matchup of the game. If Philip Daniels, and for a while this year, he was doing it on an island. This is not a game you leave him on an island. This is a game where there is significant chip help.
Mm-hmm.
So much help with Ruben Bain. Do not let Ruben Bain one-on-one with Philip Daniels.
I mean, we've
You're not gonna have
seen
a good
we've
time.
seen what literally just look back to it. It will always be engraved in my mind for this season. Week 1, Notre Dame, Miami, like last drive for Notre Dame, put the tackle in the absolute spin cycle.
Ruben Bain.
He got completely lost. Sack CJ Carr, game's up.
Yep. And so Ruben Bain is just the definition of an NFL game wrecker, game changer. Fuck. And if you're an OC, God, we need, damn it, he's on their team.
Yep.
Ruben Bain is that. And so that's going to be a headache. On the flip side, Ohio State on defense, Miami on offense, they arguably have the best tackle in college football as well. Francis Malawaga? Francis, big boy. Animal, axe murderer, scary, horrifying. Oh shit, guaranteed multiple time Pro Bowl shit. I'm gonna go so far as say he will at least be a 2-time NFL All Pro tackle in his career. He is real. He's not no joke. But the thing is, when it's an elite tackle from a defensive side, you know, you don't really like game plan around that. It's like, all right, Kenyatta's not getting pressure. Okay, we're not getting pressure on that side.
Mm-hmm.
and like we're not gonna like double stunt him. Like no. The rest of the O line's where you got to take advantage. So that's just one matchup gone. So a lot of
I
this,
mean,
well, actually, Caden will be on that side. This is a Kenyatta Jackson game on the weak side.
you,
This is
you've you've
Kenyatta's
made
time, buddy.
you've made the point too, though, that this game will also be very dependent on Carson Beck, and if you can give Carson
Yes.
Beck to be a 3 interception game versus let me sit there pick you apart game,
And the way
very
to do
different.
that is through pressure.
Right, very different vibes. And if you can't get pressure, he will be able to have time to sit there and actually think. And when he can think, he doesn't make the dumb errors a lot of the time. I'm not going to say 100% of the time. He still makes errors sometimes, but he makes them less. And Miami has the ability to have explosives and to get yards downfield. Um, so if he's not going to get pressured, it makes it much more difficult. Now, if the secondary and Caleb Downs and everybody plays, up to high caliber, it should be fine. It shouldn't matter that whole much because if you can keep them contained, then the pressure will get there and it will put alarms in his head and he will just end up running into a sack. Um,
Yeah, I'll say this about Ohio State's defense. If there's one area in Matt Patricia's scheme where you can attack Ohio State, if you like, you need to be able to execute. But the one area of the field that Ohio State consistently leaves open is those seam routes over the middle of the field on the hashes down the middle. That seam route range around 10 to 18 yards past line of scrimmage along the hashes, that's where you can really damage Ohio State. And I think in this game, Malachi Tony's just gonna get his, like, Malachi Tony's just gonna have 75 yards and probably another tubby. Like, that's gonna happen.
yeah.
That's fine. We need to contain everybody else. If we wrangle in everybody else, like, we can win by double digits with Tony doing that. What the
So
problem is if we let these second, third receivers, Mary and Daniels, get involved and become a threat, that's when it's scary. But if we can just key on Tony this whole game and bracket him with Iggy and McLean, and yeah, I like that. I like our odds with that. I will say Jermaine Matthews kind of been getting picked on past couple of weeks. Who I thought was the most reliable corner star of the year. It is now Davison Igbanos and Mr. Holding PI from last year. He is without doubt the most trusted corner on Ohio State's team right
and
now.
how do you feel about that?
Right now, really weird because it's like this is a 180 from last year where if Iggy got thrown the ball, it's at minimum a PI 15-yard first down. When last year, if you threw to Jermaine, it was like definitely incomplete, probably an interception. Now it's flipped. Now it's like if they throw to Jermaine, I know it's a catch. But if they throw to Iggy, he might be taking that shit house call. So it's weird. Like it's weird. But that's one thing I'll be honest. I expect like we don't travel our corners like Iggy's
Which you
right
really
corner,
shouldn't unless you have
Jermaine's
like
nickel,
yeah.
like everyone plays their thing.
The,
Uh, so we're not going to be shadowing Tony. If they want to line up Tony out right where Iggy isn't, like they could do that the whole
Now,
game.
look, what I will say, the one thing I will say about A&M
They couldn't pass.
defensively, I don't, huh?
They couldn't pass, bro.
Right.
A&M.
But defensively speaking,
Very good. They were very good.
very good, and
Yeah.
that's a clear game plan that works against Miami's. Miami, that whole drive, that whole game,
This is how
they were
yeah.
only able to be explosive one drive. Really,
what I thought
of
was
the whole game.
that
Bad
first
timing
half,
on it, but
Miami couldn't run for shit, and you saw how lifeless that offense was.
Yeah.
Second half, they get Fletcher rolling a bit, and now once again, another reason why I wanted Miami over A&M. Like 30% of Miami's like key contributors were committed to Ohio State, decommitted, flipped to Miami. So Mark Fletcher, running back, he was one of those backs where,
yeah,
if you remember, I was like, Ohio State's top 3 running back targets missed on all 3 of them. 2 of them just went to fucking Bama. Justice Haynes was one of them who transferred to Michigan. But the 3 running back targets of 2022, 0 of them went to Ohio State, and they are seeing it hurt them in the ass this year with every single one of those guys they missed on are electric. And we got, hey, Bo Jackson reincarnated and is playing for Ohio State. I'm very thankful for Bo. But
Bo Lamar Jackson, yes.
sorry, Lamar Bo Jackson.
Lamar Bo
Lamar's his
Jackson, my
real
bad.
name.
Lamar
Bo's
is the
the
first
middle
name.
name.
Forgot about that. Yeah, yeah, I had it inversed. But look, I do think that you're going to see one of two things. Either this is going to be a really frustrating game for Ohio State, and it will be a close game, or I think Ohio State will just run away with it.
BDA. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not really an in between where it's going to be like, oh, like Ohio State scores, then Miami scores,
I
Ohio State
don't
scores,
want to be
Miami.
really biased, but I just can't see Ohio State losing this game. I see
But
it being a
what I am saying,
close
like
last
I
second,
think
like,
Ohio
but
State will win, but I'm more so saying it's either a BTA or it's a really low scoring game, and it's just really frustrating. Grind
ooh,
it
I see
out.
what. Yeah, like that
Like
Indiana
it's
game.
not like we're putting up a lot of points. Miami's putting up a lot of points. It's like no, you're playing Miami football. Your guys, you're running the ball. It's a
Which is
gritty,
ironic because you think
just
Miami would be speed, flashy. No, no, Crystal Ball is
yeah,
Mister Big Ten. Run it down
yeah.
your
You run.
throat.
Yeah, it's just gross offensive football. Defensive football, you're loving it. If you're a
I
defensive lover, if you're a sicko, for defense, yeah, you're gonna love that kind of game plan. But for a general viewer, it will be a gross football game if it goes that direction.
Yeah, you know what? I see that line 40 and a half. I'm just looking at all four games. For that being the lowest total,
It makes sense. It
take
does
the
make sense.
under. Everyone's like, oh,
Does make
lowest
sense.
total over under on that one.
But
Under on
here's the
that
one thing:
one.
it could be one of those games where it's similar to Texas A&M and Miami or Ohio State, Indiana for like the first 2.5 quarters, and then boom, a collective 30 points are scored in the last quarter and a half.
I was going to say my prediction's 24-10. I do not see a scenario where Ohio State wins by double digits and only scores 24. Does that make sense?
I'm gonna
If
say
Ohio State's winning by double digits, it's a
yeah,
30
no,
40
yeah.
piece.
I was gonna say I'm gonna say I think they double it. I would say 34-17 in that situation. Like
Yeah, and that
that's
would qualify as a belt to me.
yeah.
So,
Like
yeah.
that's you're doubling their score. Like that's kind of that kind of line. Um, I just don't also like I know Miami didn't put up a lot of points last time. I know Ohio
A&M's
State
a really
didn't.
good
So
defense.
I
A&M's a really good
originally wanted to
defense.
be like, yeah, Miami like 13, Ohio State 24, something like that. I think Miami will score more than 13 points in this game. I think it's possible. But I'm not confident enough in that line to say that. I would still go with Ohio State -9.5. I think
Yeah,
you take
it's a
that
little
because I
dice.
think that's enough where Vegas is like take Miami +9.5.
That's what I'm saying. And it's
Take Ohio
also
State.
8.5, 7.5, 9.5. It's the same thing.
9.5. You would need a one touchdown and a field goal. That's it. Like
Yeah,
that's not a whole
but
lot in
it's
the
like
concept of college football.
7.5, 8.5, 9.5 is kind of the same thing.
You're assuming that they're like what you're going to get a 2 point conversion in there
Exactly.
somewhere. Ohio
So
State's not doing that. If
unless
Ohio
it's
State's
Michigan,
winning by that much, they're doing that.
only
Mm-mm.
Michigan.
Yeah,
I love how
yeah.
you would remind me to do that over the
But
summer.
okay, Ohio State. We have Ohio State winning that one. Grant, on to the next game
Best matchup.
on New Year's Day, 11 a.m., 9 a.m. start for you, bright and early for Oregon fans. If you're still in Eugene, Oregon, Texas A&M in the Orange Bowl. What that's in Florida, right? In Miami.
Miami.
Um,
That's at
so
Hard Rock.
yep, noon start for them. I don't know what I want to check the weather conditions for that game actually. But we talked about this the other week while I'm doing
I
this.
think this is the best game, clearly, of the
I
opening
agree.
round.
I agree with that.
Ooh, Oregon's now a 2.5 point favorite. Start of the
I,
week,
I
1.5
I
Texas Tech.
also I also do think, and I do want to say we talked about it a little bit last time. But that defense wins championships, and like we're not
Yeah,
sure. We
right
talked about it
now.
before. We underestimate and we undervalue the Texas Tech offense, but that defense is no joke, and that defense will be, and it will be Jacob Rodriguez will be the reason why they win or why they lose.
Shout out my guy, Mellow Height. I think he's
Uh,
also going to
I
have
was
a
checking to
nice
see if it
game.
was going to rain, Grant. What day is that? That's going to be Thursday, right?
Thursday.
Sunny, 69 degrees. So perfect football day in Miami. Um, so it's not even a question of who has the shitty sideline, the away team sideline to be in the heat, because that might actually help you if you don't like the cold in that situation, it being 69. But yeah, Oregon looked really good and has looked good. Dante Moore looked fantastic. I know that I said before, JMU, put up a lot more points than people expected, and that last bit, like, yeah, Oregon did have some of their starters in, some of their all conference players on defense when JMU started putting up points. And it does make me feel like the Texas Tech offense has points, chances of scoring. I think I said last week before that the matchup for Texas Tech's offense versus the Oregon defense is better than the Oregon offense versus the Texas Tech defense. So I think it could technically go either
You
way.
think? Oh, you think that?
I think that the high poweredness of Oregon's offense is more even to the high poweredness of Texas Tech's defense versus the way that Oregon's defense has looked at the end of last game, the second half, versus what Texas Tech's offense has done. That's not to say that Oregon's offense won't
Well,
go
I'm
and score
sorry,
any
I
points.
lost. Are you saying you like the Oregon offensive matchup better or the Texas Tech offensive matchup better?
I'm saying I think the Texas Tech's offense
Has a easier time.
has an easier time to be able to score against the Oregon defense than the Oregon offense will against the Texas Tech defense.
Strong disagree from me on that one. Strong disagree. The thing about Texas Tech is they are kind of built in that front seven. Jacob Rodriguez, my dog Romello Height. I got to get the last backer right here who leads the team in sacks. Let me pull it up real quick. Sorry. David Bailey, other outside backer. So like up front, stout, scary. Oh shit.
Well,
I think what makes Oregon like firepower scary is when they can pass the ball. And like that, that's the strength of Oregon's
look,
team. That
yeah,
is not the strength of Texas Tech's defense. It's
no,
not the
I
pass
know,
D.
The reason why I'm saying this is I'm going off of the way that the second half versus JMU looked, and JMU kind of got hot. And I know the whole argument you're going to make, but I do think that that shows like the point of the defense. Like Oregon was still trying to play at that point. Like I know it was salted away, but um, I'm just saying that like Texas Tech has a very good defense. Oregon has a very good offense. And I think that that's a really good matchup just for the game because it's chess. It's going to be chess of the Oregon's offense versus Texas Tech's defense. And I think that the Texas Tech offense is much worse than their defense. And I think that Oregon's defense is worse than their offense. I was just saying that that probably means Texas Tech's offense might have an easier time scoring, but it depends what version of the Oregon defense comes out.
I think a lot of people are expecting Texas Tech to have a nice time defending the run here. That is their strength. I think people are going to be surprised at how Oregon's able to run the ball in this one. All of their backs this year have been just like nightmares for people. So Whittington, 800 yards, 6.9 yards a pop, six tubbies. Davidson, 625 yards, 13 tubbies, six and a half a pop. And then Dare Hill, 557 yards, eight and a half a pop. Like that's just what the hell am I like efficiency numbers? Just what the hell
I
am I
mean,
reading?
just
What is this
just going
Chip
off
Kelly?
just
What am
going
I?
off
What?
going off like the general situation and just the Texas Tech team having time to rest, like that can be helpful, but at the same time we've seen before how it can make you come out flat. And I think that there's probably a higher likelihood, unfortunately, Texas Tech comes out flat with that rest. And Oregon has a vendetta after last year because of what happened when they came out after having some time off. And
It was also an unfair task because it's like, hey, we game planned for Ohio State earlier this year. Now we have to go up against Michael Myers' axe murder Ohio coach. What the hell are we doing? Like, how
no,
do you game
yeah.
plan for that shit? I don't
I
know.
I would what do you say? Oregon was -2.5.
Yeah, that line has shifted. Texas Tech was a 1.5 point favorite, so essentially pick
Mm-hmm.
them. It's now Oregon -2.5.
I mean, it's still a hard line. Generally speaking, I think I would probably take Oregon in this one, but I don't want to slight or shade Texas Tech to any degree because I still think that they're a very good team. It's very reliant on defense, and defense wins championships, and that's what will be the metric to follow for their game. But it
Yeah,
comes
they're
down to
like,
their
hey,
offensive
defense,
efficiency.
defense like wins championships right now. Every team that wins, you have like a top three defense in college football. Uh, Also at the same time, all those offenses could put up 30 any given night. Any
Which
night.
is helpful when if your defense falters at any point.
Texas Tech, I'm not sure that offense can just casually drop a 30 bomb any
No,
night.
that's why I'm saying it depends what version of Oregon's defense comes out to play. because if either of those two sides are going to kind of fall, I feel like the defense falls first before the offense would. And, uh, that would be the benefit of,
It might be a simple
potentially
answer,
offense.
but like this game may just come down to turnovers. Like which
Yeah.
team is turning it over? Like you just every possession matters.
No,
Like just
I
as simple
fully
as
I fully
that.
agree with that. I fully agree with that. And I mean, we've seen before Dante Moore, as good as he can be, he can turn the ball over as well.
Oh yeah.
So like we'll see. But Grant, onto the next game of the four, Alabama, Indiana.
I would
Um,
say my second most excited
I
matchup.
would agree with that. I would even argue that this is the best matchup of the week.
What's interesting
Um,
about Bama though is that like they could play from behind. They
Seen
may
it.
have one route to win, but that route is never eliminated in the game, regardless what they could always do that route, regardless what the game script is. So
Mhm.
you don't like hearing that if you're
No,
Indiana. Uh, and it's also like if there's any team in the playoff that has the Ohio State chip, it's the Alabama Crimson Tide. They're the one team that fits the mold
and I
of
mean, we said it before. I think I said it going into the last week, where getting absolutely blown out by Georgia, that instills something right before you go into the playoffs. That's a feeling you want to make sure you don't feel again. It leaves kind of a mark
and it's
on
still so
every player in
recent. It
that
was
locker room.
literally this month. All the players remember that shit like it
Hmm.
was yesterday because it was yesterday. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and I mean,
fresh.
also on top of that, last week, when they played, or a week and a half ago, whenever it was, when they played um, Oklahoma, they were down big to start the game, and it looked like the same.
17-0.
It looked like the same inefficiency that they had against Georgia, and that they were just they weren't awake or anything like that. Then something clicked,
Yeah,
and
that is one thing about
Alabama
Bama.
woke up, and if they come in with that same kind of heat that they ended that game with,
Yeah,
and you have that mentality as a part of it, that
yeah.
can cause a lot of problems.
Pretty much under Kalen DeBoer since he's gone to Bama. Bama has not played an entire 4 quarters in one sitting the same way. They have
No,
been two different teams in every single Kalen DeBoer game. This is the thing, though. You kind of expect early Bama to be in this. You kind of expect Indiana to go up 7-0, 10-0, 14-0. But it's like that second half, if we could just not play the first 30 minutes of the game, man, this team is a weapon. Man, this team is they're like the Buffalo Bills. This team is horrifying. But because we get that inconsistent Alabama just a little, we get it every single week. You get it for at least one
no,
quarter.
yeah.
And Indiana is a team that punishes you. Okay, they punish you
No,
when you
Cursinetti's
turn
going
the
to
ball
make you
over.
play the
They are
style of
gonna get
football
a
he
touchdown.
wants you to play. Yeah.
Like Indiana, they take advantage of their opportunities. They're great at it, and that's something you can't do. The ironically though, it's like Ty Simpson could throw a pick six first play of the game, and it's like I think I might be live betting Bama money line. That's how
It's
sick I
possible.
am in the
I mean,
head.
it's just also like Bama figuring the vibe that Bama had in that second half of the game versus Oklahoma. It's more so if they come in
Honestly,
with,
like starting with like a minute left in the first quarter, rest of the
mhm.
game.
But if they come in with that same kind of vibe, there's two questions. One, okay, when is it going to fall off? Or two, if it somehow doesn't, Grant, and Bama has finally figured it out under Kalen DeBoer, and it's not the inconsistency that you're talking about, that is a scary, scary team to come up against in any of those situations.
I'm just saying we should have gotten rid of Bama when we had the chance. We had multiple chances this year to just not even have to worry about them, and we gave them second life. So got nobody to blame but ourselves.
Mm-hmm. I still think Indiana will win this game. Um, I think Mendoza's looked too good compared to competition, and I mean, they've been able to make opponents play the kind of football that they want them to play rather than the kind of that other teams want to play. And I think that will continue here. And it just Indiana's looked too good, and I don't know if Bama's going to be able to overcome that. It's not Oklahoma. It's not Mateer. You know, it's a different style of football entirely.
Oh yeah, but I agree with you. I take Indiana over this one. Uh,
I think it'll be close though.
yeah, like this one. Shit, it might be your bet. Like if you're gonna take one, it might be the play. Just Bama first half spread. I don't even know. I don't listen to my advice on this one, folks. Don't listen to me on that one. Okay, last one. Ole Miss Georgia. A rematch from earlier this year, I believe.
Yep.
Uh, definitely the least interesting matchup. I think maybe we're realizing the rematches. The only rematches that would be entertaining is Ohio State, Michigan, and Bama, Georgia. Like that's it.
Ohio State, Indiana, probably.
Oh, okay.
Talking
Okay.
about
Ohio
in
State,
the
Oregon.
playoffs,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Like if
yeah,
there's like usually though, like they're not too interesting. Uh, yeah, I think the plays Georgia alt line, Georgia -9.5. Take your plus one
yeah, I
forty.
agree with that, and I think counter to the points we talked about with Ohio State and Miami, um, I just it's not even like there's a let's stop this. Ohio State might run. It's more likely Georgia runs away with this game than it is in the Ohio State Miami game. Um, and it's not like Ole Miss will go and make you play like gut it out, grimy, run it style of football. Like Miami might make you play. Ole Miss, it's not that they're not that style of game. And Georgia's not Tulane. And when Ole Miss has come across very good teams this season, they have done much worse. And I don't think it's possible for them to overcome that now. And I think this is going to be a BTA.
I'll be on Ole Miss. They relatively skirted by this year on the schedule. Relatively skirted by. Yeah,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
that
I,
SEC
I don't I don't
schedule. Wow.
I don't know if there's too many other points to make. I think it'll be a BTA.
Yeah.
Like so.
Yeah. All
But it
right.
will be
Okay.
interesting to see kind of how Georgia's offense comes out, and because I think that's the bigger question mark
Yeah, I mean,
for their team.
Ohio State fan here talking just championship wide. If that Georgia offense is the way it's been looking the past couple weeks, like that's my big red circle underline problem. That goes the Georgia Bulldogs as of right now. The
Mm-hmm.
second, well, Indiana is problem two. The next, oh shit, eye on you is Oregon. Eye on you, Oregon.
Yeah, it's just sometimes
I'm
like
watching you. I'm
they've
watching
been
you.
they've just been so inconsistent and up and down at points that
Oh no,
it
no, I know,
it
I know.
it depends what comes out and how they do. Because Gunnar Stockton, what I guess he technically started last year.
We'll
Um,
count it.
yeah,
He
so he
kind of won
has
the
he
job at
has
the end.
experience. Um, but for it's the same question I think with Julian Sand. And arguably Mendoza too. Mendoza kind of feels a little bit different, and so does Dante Moore. But like Julian Sand and Gunnar Stockton feel similar in the stance that they are young quarterbacks with not that much experience besides this season now playing in a big game.
I could be wrong. But I think Gunnar Stockton's old as shit. I could be
But I'm
wrong.
saying he hasn't played. I'm saying just young quarter, meaning like
Oh,
he
in
hasn't,
terms of literal play time.
yeah,
Okay.
literal playing time. Like Mendoza's played, Dante Moore has gotten playing time. Like I'm saying, literal playing time in that degree. I guess Chambliss, technically, if you want to talk about FBS, like Division 1 level
Well, this is
quality
Dante
people
Moore's
aren't
only year
but
starting.
so then Dante Moore would fall into that too. I don't know why I thought he played a
Ty
couple games at
Simpson too.
UCLA.
Like every
Yeah, so I
quarterback.
guess it's very similar across the board.
No bullshit. Trinidad Chambliss has the most college football playing experience of any quarterback remaining in the field.
Yeah. I'm just gonna check that.
That dude played like 3 years. He won two
Gunnar
titles in
Stockton
D2.
is a red shirt junior right
But just on PT, like
now. Mm-hmm.
Gunnar sat,
Oh,
Julian
100%.
sat, Dante Moore was
Yeah.
sitting.
So it's really, I mean, if we're
We
talking about
don't count
experience.
UCLA for Dante Moore.
Yeah,
He
it's
doesn't
really
want
just
you to count that for
Mendoza. It's
him.
really just Mendoza and Chambliss are the only ones with and Beck credible experience.
Yeah, no, well, that's the funny thing because
Yeah.
every single one of us throws away Carson Beck, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, hey, like we kind of expect him to like throw a atrocious interception that has you like, literally, what were you thinking, dude?
Yeah, I guess also with Gunnar Stockton, like my biggest thing with him is it's still the um game he had last year in the playoffs. Like that's still kind of seared in my mind right now when it goes to equating him. But I guess that's not really fair. Um,
Yeah, like it is like it's last year they didn't have weapons.
yeah,
Like I even think Carson Bet like it's it's messed up to judge him based on last season. It's messed up, not fair to them.
yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens this week, and that'll make a conversation for what would that be, the semifinals, um,
Yeah, this is the quarters.
quarters. Yeah, so we'll see, but yeah, I mean, do we want to do anything in the NFL for this episode?
We can just do a quick little thing. NFL overview right now. A lot of the playoffs are like kind of set in stone how it looks. Like the Rams are like eliminated from winning the NFC West, so like the Rams are the 5 seed or 6 seed in the playoffs, depending on how Seahawks Niners pans out. Uh, maybe we could just do some end of the year NFL talk, NFL
Well,
shout outs,
you
because
know,
this season is pretty much done.
I
Chargers, we're
do I
sitting our
do
dudes
have
next
I
week.
do have a point that you brought up in last episode with talking about Bulls and Harbaugh and Tomlin. Um, you know, there was a tweet that I saw earlier this week, and it was basically just saying like you get punished for bad management in the long run when it comes to coaching staffs. And that's not saying that the coaching staff itself is bad, but like as a team and ownership, like letting talent walk out the building, like Ben Johnson leaving instead of Dan Campbell, right? And then you have Dave Canales and Liam Cohen leaving with Todd Bowles. Then you have Mike McDonald leaving under John Harbaugh. Um, the big point here, and I think that they were saying is like when you have clear talent that is going to do well as an NFL head coach, and like you're sure of that, why not promote the current head coach that might not have that step, like John Harbaugh or Dan Campbell or something, to a higher position within the franchise, and then let that new prodigy guy come up in it. And I guess the question in that would be Dan Campbell, because I don't know necessarily if Dan Campbell would be in that same sphere. But with Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh, when you have Mike McDonald, right, or Todd Bowles, I guess especially Todd Bowles, when you have Dave Canales and when you have Liam Cohen, right, that are both in there, they're going to do well, especially Liam Cohen. You know, would you not want to just let Bowles go or move him up in the franchise to be able to hire those guys to do well and to coach?
Yeah, I
But
think kind of an interesting part about the NFL, like it's kind of more prevalent in the NFL than some other American sports leagues, but like the locker room culture aspect like is extremely important in the NFL.
mm-hmm.
It's important in other sports, don't get me wrong, but it's just like in NFL, talk about it all the time. Like you can never lose the locker room. You can never lose it. And I just feel like some of these decisions are kind of made on that fear of losing the locker room when in like a Todd Bowles, for example, like, culture wise, I would bet he's a pretty good culture guy, like, setting some
Yeah,
ground rules, framework, how everyone should be. But when it comes to coaching football, that dude's one of the biggest morons I've ever seen. Ever. I do not know what goes through his mind. Like timeouts, no clue. Zero idea what they even are. Just so many little coaching things where it's like, if this guy had just played 3 seasons of Madden, he would answer his timeout questions. And they don't, which, hey, if you're an NFL coach, you know what? Good. I don't want you playing Madden, but at least like take a timeout, like 101 college course or something, dude. It's just crazy. But like that example, Liam Cohen, you have a genius mind like that. And Todd Bowles, we all know what the answer should have been. It should have been Cohen. Let's do Lions though. Dan Campbell, and then you're Ben Johnson. Like Dan Campbell is Detroit. Like Dan
no, yeah,
Campbell.
he's Motor City.
So for that
It's
example,
hard. It's hard to say, like, you
yeah,
can't really do that. And like I get maybe from like it's also recency bias. Like we're seeing how well the Bears are doing right now, but it's also the difference in schedule. The Bears had a fourth place schedule this year. Like that makes a really big difference. And they played a lot of those games
100%.
close. And yeah, I mean the 49ers game, fantastic game, by the way.
Oh,
what a great Monday
it
night
was
football
the
or Sunday night
only
football.
NFL game in history to have the score tied 7-7,
14,
14-14,
14.
21-20, all the way up to
Mm-hmm.
35. Only
Like,
game in NFL
and
history.
I that clearly shows like the Bears have it. And I said it last year. I thought the Bears were a very good, bad team. They had talent. And I was
Yeah.
concerned when they hired Ben Johnson because of that. But like clearly the Bears have it and they're going to be talented. And the Lions, losing a coordinator no matter what is going to adversely harm and affect your team,
And especially when
especially
it's
it's a
Ben
guy it's
Johnson.
Ben Johnson. Um, and there are reports saying that now Dan Campbell is going to go pillage Ben Johnson's staff to find an offensive coordinator who Ben Johnson technically stole probably from Dan Campbell's staff. So it's just a same kind of hire situation where it would have been an internal hire probably.
That's another
Um,
thing I always think about when a brand new head coach is hired. Like, how do they even begin assembling their staff? There's multiple guys that you have
I'll be
literally
honest,
never worked with
it's
that you're calling out.
it's
Like,
probably just their boys on the
yeah,
team, and then they like call up somebody they know and like,
well, that's what
who should
like
I hire?
it
Right?
is all word
They
of mouth because it's like, how
yeah,
do I trust these? I literally have never spoken to him in my
but
life.
also
Like,
like
how am I going to
sometimes
hire him as
like
my
when
DC?
you're an OC, like you'll have worked with a couple guys who probably
Of
came from a
course,
different
of
team, and
course,
they
of
might
course.
have some,
Yeah.
I like most likely your OC is probably like your position coach underneath you on your team right now.
Yes.
And then
No,
that
well, like
guy,
one side of the ball, you kind of know.
yeah,
Like
and
Ben
then
Johnson, that offensive staff, like
yeah,
I know that he has a very clear
mm-hmm.
idea of what each offensive possession coach should be doing, but could not tell you that on defense. And it's like I need
Well,
to find my
also
best DC to do this whole
he
fucking
ended
thing
up.
for
It's
me.
just like for Ben Johnson, he ended up hiring Dennis Allen. Like that was pretty much like okay, just fired head coach. That is a defensive
Yeah,
guy like
you're
that.
bringing over a fucking whole
I mean,
fleet of dudes
also
with
with
you.
the Vikings, right? Brian Flores, Ed
No, once
Donatel.
again,
Clearly, Ed Donatel was not the right hire in that situation.
yeah,
But um, you know, your side of the ball. It's usually a lot of the time you get a former head coach to be the opposite side on the coordinator side. But just back to the general point, like that's the question with like the Steelers or like the Ravens, right? Mike McDonald on the Seahawks doing a phenomenal job, right? They might have they might have been like, hey, done the same thing that they did with Pete Carroll in Seattle, where they should have elevated, John Harbaugh and then had Mike McDonald take over. Steelers, I don't really know if they have anybody in that situation. You're not going
yeah.
to have Arthur Smith do that. Um,
No Chen Arthur, hell no.
yeah. So, um, even if Mike Tomlin were to leave and get frustrated, like you don't have that same kind of internal vibe. There's no prodigy. And I don't even know who the next prodigal. I guess it is technically the Jaguars. I think Udusky is technically being touted as the next prodigal guy because Liam Cohen's doing so well this year.
But once again, it's like we're gonna like seeing how the Bucks are right now. I don't think anyone's crediting Todd Bowles for the success of the Bucks offense last year.
No,
We credit
no,
Liam Cohen,
yeah,
but let's just go one step further this year. Liam Cohen's hired, so you can't go after him. Are we sure that his assistant's the guy, or is it Liam Cohen?
no, it's definitely Liam Cohen. But
You know?
with Udusky too, though, Udusky made the Vikings offense with Sam Darnold so much better last year, and then he got
But is
hired
that
away.
him or is that KOC? Like, I hate to be
It
that
looks
guy
much
right now,
worse.
but I'm
It
just
looks much worse this year, so I think
okay.
it's partially him.
Okay.
I'm gonna give credit to him because
Okay.
personally I wanted to keep him. Obviously the Jaguars is much more Liam Cohen, especially considering I'm pretty sure he's the play caller.
Well, yeah, and it's just like once I realized that Liam Cohen's about attacking the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Once I found that out, like week 7,
especially when you play two high safeties right now, like
you have to.
yeah, that's
And
big.
BTJ and Travis Hunter, if they're running, Brian Thomas Jr. is afraid. Travis
He
Hunter
always
will get hurt if he
he
runs over the
always just
middle.
has somebody. He has the other guys pull the safeties, and then you just run Jacoby over the middle, and he just get receptions.
No, it's literally Jacoby and Parker Washington's had back-to-back 100-yard games.
Brenton Strange when he was healthy.
Yeah, Brenton Strange, when healthy this year, is like 45 yards a game.
Yeah,
which we'll take.
But I mean, with the Bucks though, it's just I think that's the ultimate example of this because Dave Canales and Liam Cohen clearly are doing better than Todd Bowles' team is right now. And
Yeah,
the offense over the past 6 weeks has looked horrific.
I want to give a quick shout to Canales, Panthers, Bryce. Do you remember last year the clip of Bryce Young walking into practice, holding his helmet and pads, like literally can't even make eye contact with any fan there? Like you could tell this dude has zero love for football at the
Mm-hmm.
time. And right now, when I tune in to watch the Panthers or see any clips of them, like Bryce Young looks like Bama Bryce. And I mean that in the sense that he looks like he's having fun. He's excited when they score. It looks like he's enjoying playing football. And I Bryce Young's one guy where like I don't really know how you could hate on him. Just as Bryce Young as a person, like has he ever done anything to like piss people off? Like no. Like Bryce Young I feel like is I mean not like loved, universally liked, but he's never done anything to make you hate him.
It's hard to make you hate him.
Yeah, and like I am rooting for him. I do hope he succeeds.
No, and he has looked much, much, much better over the past
He just looks
several
like
weeks.
he's enjoying what he's doing.
And I think
Looks like
especially
he's
for
having
him,
fun.
when he enjoys winning is a part of that, but when you enjoy football, it makes you
Yeah,
play better. And I think that's I mean we've seen it a lot this season. Um, but yeah, I just think that's a very good question to think on both sides of the football. You know, we especially with a lot of the coaches who are stable and consistent, but maybe consistency is a bad thing in this situation because it's always a first round exit or it's always going
yeah,
just even so that you don't get a great pick or you don't make the playoffs, right? Like
yeah.
that consistency to a point can be harmful because you never make progress. And when you
But
have guys
yeah,
in your locker room and on your team who clearly are successful in what they do, at what point as an owner or GM do you pull the trigger on that guy over the guy who currently is your guy? And the thing is, it probably will never happen because
yeah.
you're attached at
My
that
my
point.
thought with Steelers specifically, and it's like a Tomlin thing, and it's like not all those other guys we just mentioned, like Harbaugh or other guys who have been tenured for a while. They have this, but like the Steelers are always a top destination for free agents. Like
Oh
guys
yeah.
would love to go play for Tomlin and sign there. And like I'm just thinking from that aspect, I feel like the Steelers
Well, it's
they
also
got a couple free agent acquisitions every year. That's a
they
key.
do. It's just like the supplementation of like who the coordinators are, especially on offense, is
Yeah,
difficult.
they've been
Like Arthur
lifeless on
Smith is
offense since
is
the
a
Killer Bees.
yeah, is really difficult,
It's been a decade
to,
now
to
since the
manage that.
Killer Bees ever.
You need to have a young, explosive guy, to be able to do that. And I just think just generally thinking about it, in the old day, obviously you're always going to have very good OCs and DCs get poached to be head coaches somewhere, right? But like sometimes you'd have a guy who teams would try to keep so under wraps that like they're like, okay, so hey, when Bill Belichick, when you retire, we're promoting this guy. This is your guy. All right. Like this is the
Ohio
next
State did that
of
with
kin,
Ryan Day. That shit
right?
was
That's where I thought Urban Meyer, Ryan Day, right? Like this
Lincoln
is a
Riley
guy.
taking over Stoops.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing.
Yep. So that's kind of like what I'm thinking. The NFL nowadays, it doesn't really exist in that aspect.
I feel like the NFL also they're for the most part. Well, recently it's changed, but I felt like
Right.
for a while it was this is not the place for a first time head coach to figure it out. You don't do that in the NFL.
Yeah.
Now they're like, all right, here's your
It's
first
it's
chance.
because Sean
Head coach
McVay,
of the Giants. Yeah, it
but
is.
and it's always the younger usually offensive minded people, which I think success rate wise, the defensive side is probably more successful overall. Um,
I don't know.
I,
Sala, uh, Texans,
Salah
D'Amico.
was okay
Uh,
that first year, but like Flores when he went to Miami for the first bit was good.
he's got the first year.
Yeah. Then Salah I think turned around a little bit. Dan Campbell might have been an offensive side guy.
He
He
is
seems
offense.
defense, but he's
No,
offense.
yeah, he's raw. He's an offensive.
Yeah.
You would think he couldn't explain a single thing about football intricacies.
Yeah,
He's an
maybe
offensive
offense. I
guy.
guess nowadays. I guess I'm thinking like overall entirety of like the last decade. Of
Yeah,
this
I'm like
century,
thinking
right?
like going back to like 2015 ish.
Yeah, I'm thinking like from since 2000. kind of deal.
Yeah,
But
I don't know that shit.
I would say since the Sean McVay offensive 100%
Well, yeah, I
is
mean, you had
proficient.
him, you had LaFleur,
Aiken.
you had KOC, you had McDaniel recently, Dolphins would agree. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you've just seen offensive guys walk into a new place,
Canales, Liam Cohen.
run the show, do a
Mm-hmm.
good job, and then boom.
I think God, what's his name? Bills, Mr. Clean,
Yeah, shit.
McDermott.
Sean
I'm pretty sure
McDermott,
McDermott was offensive guy. I
once
think.
again, another guy. Are we so sure that's the head coach? Are we that sure, guys?
I don't know.
Because as a Josh Allen stan, I'm not sure. I'm not so
All I
certain
know
if
is
that's our
Joe
guy.
Brady dials up some just diabolical stuff that last drive.
Yeah,
Um,
Joe Brady's amazing. It's like I hate that they go wide receiver by committee. It's like, dude, Josh needs a dog. Like he
I
needs a
think if
guy.
I honestly think that if they had a elite wide receiver right now, Joe Brady would be head coach.
Yeah.
Go get a job. Um, but
That's another thing that I looked up. I think Joe Brady is 10 years younger than Brian Hartline. Like, oh yeah, Hartline, it was time to go speed up this process, dude.
development,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um, I don't know. It's just interesting, and I think this will be an interesting because last year we had a cream of the crop, in Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen was also up there,
Yeah.
in name, but like this year, there's not like a standout name,
No.
in that regard. There's not a name that you're seeing every time one of the teams that need a head coach comes up that they're like, yeah, this
Even in
guy,
college too, like there's not like
it's
a
not,
guy right now. We're thinking offensive here. Like I can't.
yeah, it's not there's not really one of those, and it'll be interesting to see kind of what names I think come out of this hiring cycle and who gets interviews for that reason. Not just because of this hiring cycle, but it'll kind of indicate who are guys to watch for next year. um
Well, yeah, it's like
and
I mean the next best quote OC is probably a wide receiver coach somewhere right now.
oh, 100%,
Somewhere.
yeah, no, I
We have no
fully
idea
agree.
who his name is. No idea.
um but yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to watch kind of what happens with a lot of positions, a lot of players, a lot of teams. This offseason wish
I would
lists.
say I am
Just
most fascinated with Giants because I this is going to be a case study for me. Difference between situation ownership and brand. How big is the Giants brand? We'll see.
yeah,
We'll see how large that brand is. For a while in my life, I kind of just assumed Giants, they're up there, one of the premier destinations. Now that I'm mature a little bit, I don't think I agree with that anymore. But
I mean, as an actual team right now, makeup wise, it is probably the best opening. Um,
the openings are them, Tennessee. What are the other ones? Bengals.
Bengals isn't open yet.
Yeah, I'm assuming. Like
Just you're just guessing, yeah. Um,
we're done with it. Zach Taylor's a moron.
them Tennessee. Um,
Damn, Zach Taylor might be the like example of the failed offensive mind who took over.
Raiders might open.
Yeah, it'd be stunning if they aren't.
Is that it right now?
I think that's it. There's like not
It's
that
just
many.
two.
There's not that many
I think it's just those two right
because
now.
we just had a big cycle recently, and they usually have 2 years. So
Yeah. Yeah, I
like
think that
Aaron
might
Glenn, yeah, he should be gone. Will he be fired by Brick? I don't know, man. Brick seems to be pretty content with Madden
we
right
might see
now.
some
So
legacy openings occur. Um but like we thought Miami would be open, they won't. I think the Jets are letting them go for another year. Commanders are going to let Dan Quinn go for another year. Uh
Cowboys aren't
Falcons,
firing.
maybe Raheem Morris. Maybe Raheem
They
Morris.
should be moving on, but I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of it's that second year cycle. Like
It's
I
these
think a lot
teams
of
that are
teams are
like,
trying to
oh,
give a little
could they
more credit.
figure it out? Maybe, but
Yeah.
like, are
Next
you
year will be a
willing
big
to?
will be a big year. I do expect though there to be another at least one opening, maybe two openings. I just don't know
The
where yet.
cycle would have perpetuated if a college coach jumped. That didn't happen, and like when that, like that's how we
Usually
lose
that's
again.
when they yeah.
Because
Mhm.
now hey, there's 32 head coaching spots. Now 33 head coaches, a college guys just entered. So like somebody lose
Right.
their job, like,
Right. No, 100%.
and
Um
it's a pretty good chance that guy gets a DC job or OC job somewhere. So then now that coordinator's gone, and then boom,
yeah,
change.
usually
You know?
that's I mean it's what Joe Brady did when he jumped up and he was in the Panthers. So
Yeah. But
Um,
it's just like that. It's like you need a college NFL transition for both leagues to start going nuts.
I mean, if Marcus Freeman had
Yeah,
done that,
Freeman to the
that would have been
Giants equals Woj bomb nuke. Oh shit, buckle up.
yeah.
Now multiple jobs are open because Notre Dame now shoots up to the top of destination spots for
That
college.
also stagnates the whoever OC or DC that would have been hired this cycle, who
Yeah,
now then has to go next cycle. And then that is a question I think people ask where it is, ownership might ask me like, hey, is this big name OCDC going to be better than my coach right now? Like that's a
and who do you
question for
ask for
Mike.
that? The GM? Like
Look, like
who do you ask?
Mike Tomlin, legacy coach. That guy is going to be in the Hall of Fame, an elite head coach, right? He has never had a losing season. He
Yeah,
is a
easy Hall of
fantastic head
Fame.
coach. But it is a question that if it was anybody not named Mike Tomlin, if you had a coach that went 9-8 every year that they were there, let's just say he was there for 4 seasons, right? Or 5 seasons, and he's gone 9-8. He's never had a losing season. You've made the playoffs twice out of that,
Yeah.
maybe 3 times, and you've never won one. You still might fire that
Well,
guy
they have a
because,
bowl. They have a bowl.
well, I'm saying let's just ignore
Sure.
that. I'm just saying let's just ignore the fact he's the longest tenured head coach, right? Let's just look at it in a
In
vacuum
all
of 5 years.
in all football. No.
Yeah. But let's just say, let's look in a vacuum of 5 years. Ignore his name, Mike Tomlin, anything, right? Like, let's not associate any of that. You just know he's gone 9-8
Yep.
or hover around 9-8 every single year for 5 years. He's made the playoffs twice and he's lost those playoff games or playoffs 3 times, lost all of them. If you are a current sitting owner or GM and you knew that there was a guy coming up and that was your line, you would probably fire them right now and go and get that guy. Because even though there's consistency, that doesn't equate to winning. And a lot of the time, depending on the team and the ownership, a lot of the time
I feel
you
like the
want to win.
Steelers. Is it still Mr. Rooney? Is he still the owner of the
Yeah,
Steelers?
it's the Roonies.
He seems like
I mean, look,
the franchise is doing well. The
that's why I'm
Steelers are
saying
so
it
like for
depends on
him.
the
I think he
ownership.
likes
Also his name, like owners want to make money. You make money by winning. Mike Tomlin, also on top of that, he's the Steelers. Like he is the
exactly.
Steelers. He is their guy. He's a Hall of Fame coach. He's an elite head coach, fantastic head coach. He's winning, and like
It would create
having
rifts in the locker room firing him.
100%, but having that kind of consistency over the length of time that he's been a head coach is remarkable. That is an elite thing, and that's why I said you have to look at it in a vacuum. If you looked at it in a vacuum and you just said, "Hey, for over the last 5 years, we've gone 9-8 essentially every year, or 10-7, whatever, right? We've made
Yeah.
the playoffs, but we've never made it out of the first round." Then you might have questions about whether or not you want to go and hire a new guy just to change it up and see if you can go further, right? Because even though
Fair.
that
Yeah.
consistency is great, you don't know, but it's the long term of it and the basis that it's Mike Tomlin and the Steelers. But outside of that specifics,
I'd say
questionable.
I'd still be pretty damn surprised if they fired Mike.
No,
I'd be pretty surprised.
by no means do I think that they're going to fire him. I think if he leaves, it's either because he retires or he doesn't want to be there. But I'm just
Oh
using
yeah.
that as a case study, as an example of situations with these longer term coaches
Tomlin
who
also, I
are
mean,
there
he
for
took
those
over
reasons.
when he was very young. Like, dude looks like he's in great health. Like, he could coach another 20 if he wanted to. I
Oh,
don't know if he
100%. But
wants,
let me ask
but
you this, and I think it does come down to his
he's like
offensive
one of the most
coordinators hires.
iconic coaches just in all of
I think
sports.
if he nailed an offensive coordinator hire, they could be winning, those games and be better. The
Yeah.
problem is we have said he's never really developed his own quarterback,
Yeah.
and
We did that case study. We
he
did.
hasn't really had great offensive systems.
Real quick,
And
just did a ton of coaches just get bailed out late 2000s, early 2010s by having god tier franchise Qs?
possible.
20 of the 32 NFL franchise had a franchise Q
No, it's very possible,
13 years ago.
but until the day right now, let's say he's on the Steelers, he's their head coach for the next 20 years, right? I don't think that Mike Tomlin and the Steelers will come close to winning or playing in a Super Bowl if they cannot find and develop their own quarterback
Oh, I agree. Yeah, no,
or a coordinator.
contest. Yeah.
And I don't know if he's going to be able to do either of those. And you know what? I love Mike Tomlin. I think he's a fantastic coach. And for the Steelers as a franchise, it's amazing. But long term, it's the question that you ask: can you win a Super Bowl? And right now, I don't know if they can.
Yeah,
So
as a Chargers fan, just purely viewing them as a threat, Am I more afraid of what the Steelers could be post Tomlin? Much more afraid of what that may be than what they will be under Tomlin.
And I think a really big question to ask, we'll get into
Even
it
though
in
there's
the next
uncertainty there.
episode. The big question to ask in the next episode is, the I think it's Sunday Night Football, or maybe it's Monday Night Football, Ravens and Steelers to go to the playoffs to win the AFC North, right? Whoever wins that game, we have John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin, two of the coaches that we've talked about a lot regarding this point, right? Whoever wins it, they might be there for longer and they make it an extension for
It'll
the
be the
fact that they
last
won it.
Sunday night football of the
They
year.
might they might get an extension because they win it, and they'll be seen as somebody who can consistently win. Whoever loses, there's going to be a question around whether or not they're still going to be able to win, if the team's if their coaching has kind of fallen off, or if they even want to still be there, just personally, if they want to keep coaching that team. And for Mike Tomlin, I think if Mike Tomlin loses, it's less of that because he's got his 9-8 record that he always ends up getting. For John Harbaugh, I think the question marks are a lot bigger if he ends up.
I think another with John Harbaugh, it's like you have Lamar Jackson, like you have the franchise dude, and at this point, it's easier to fire Harbaugh if Lamar wants it.
Well, also the other thing is, and we can end with this.
I don't know
Lamar
anyone
Jackson
on the Steelers who wants Tomlin.
Lamar Jackson is his own agent. He doesn't have an agent. He represents himself.
That
and
is true.
Apparently, I think he signed, I don't remember exactly what the contract was, but when he signed that contract, he had kind of been sitting out a little bit beforehand when he was signing that contract. And also,
but then he came back and was.
And also, when you're contacting the player directly to talk about things that you normally talk to an agent about, who then conveys it nicely to the player, it creates a little bit more of an issue
100%.
with that player and the team because
100%.
they might make points specifically about the player that the player might not want to hear.
Exactly.
And it creates a situation. And from what I've heard, it's possible that Lamar Jackson isn't super happy with his contract right now. And that's potentially why he hasn't played. He hasn't played as much lately. So that will be a question, going into this next week and something to look at if he doesn't play. And it seems like he's kind of healthy and he's just sitting.
Yeah, he signed I got it right here, Everett. 5 years. Can you take a guess what the total number is? 5 years.
Fives?
Oh, hell, no one is 5 years, 500 million in the NFL.
Was it 50?
Oh, you're guessing per year?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 50 what? It's in the 50s. What?
8? Is it 58?
No, 52 though. But
okay.
What is he complaining? He wants to be 55 because that's the like. Does he want 3
million?
Why is he?
It's just always people having going on top of each other. So I don't exactly know, but I'm do confused. Think I did see something about.
I believe you. I don't think it's false.
Look, it's not a confirmation thing. Like this was in the Ravens sphere, so I don't know the sources verbatim like I know the Viking sources, but I saw it enough to draw my eyes to the point. But he does represent himself, and I do think that when the organization have an issue with him, instead of they can't bring it to an agent, so they have to bring it to him personally. And regardless if it's a contract dispute or something else, like it can just create a problem in that dynamic, and that can make him not want to do stuff. So that is something to watch. I think going into this next week to see how that is, because I think it's not consistent, but there have been times where he has been hurt, and I say that with air quotes, and hasn't played as much because
I'm just seeing right here, Lamar, he has a potential out after next season. And I think that's what he's upset about, because after next season, he will be going into his age 30 year in the NFL. And I'm going to guess he wants to have his money locked up.
He's 30 now.
He's 28.
Okay.
I'm going to guess he doesn't want his contract currently expires after his year 30.
Yeah, so he wants that extension.
I'm guessing he wants money locked up till he's 32.
Yeah. Especially with the way that he plays.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I get it now. I get it now. And right now, you look at Mahomes a little banged up. He's like, I know I'm a top 3 quarterback on planet Earth today. So you should go get your bag, Lamaro. You should right now re-up that shit.
Yeah, but we'll see. I think that this week will kind of direct our conversation on that going forward. But we'll talk about all that and the games in the next episode. With that, thank you guys so much for watching, listening, rate us 5 stars. You can find us on Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and on Instagram at Waterboy Pod. You can follow me and Grant on Twitter at Waterboy Grant and at Everett's Takes. We post new episodes on YouTube and all podcast platforms every week, so make sure to check us out there. So miss anything else. We also post exclusive content on TikTok and on Instagram, so make sure to check us out there as well. With that, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Waterboys out.